Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
Yeah. Listen, success is whatever you make it. If you want to be happy, you want to provide for your family.
Live.
You gotta put that work in, man. You gotta go get
Learn.
it. See, listen, this is what I tell them.
Serve.
I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals.
Inspire.
I go out and I go get it. How to go,
You're in the
that's
right
all I know. I
place.
don't
You're
succeed
checking
if I
out
don't breathe.
Chip
Success,
Baker,
what does it
the
mean?
Success
If I
Chronicles.
conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. And today, I'm excited to have this one. We have the Cottons with us for our Relationship Chronicle. And so, just, man, like I said, excited to get this one. Always excited to talk relationships because I think you can't get enough positive relationship info to help everybody make it through. So first, I just want to say thank you guys so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles.
Absolutely.
Excited to be here.
This is home now.
That's it. That's it. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Right.
Yeah. So individually, if you guys can talk about, where each of you are from.
You can go first, bro.
Okay.
Well, I individually am from Denver, Colorado. Grew up, I guess I grew up in Aurora, but I went to Montbello High School. So if anybody's familiar with Denver, Montbello was my stomping ground. That's where I went to high school. That's where I was thrown into the jungle and kind of learned life skills, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
And I was born in Mexico, and I moved to the United States when I was about 1. So I grew up here in Denver, Colorado as well.
Okay, and I said I introduced you as the Cotton, but tell everybody your names so they know.
Oh, my name's Palolma.
Okay.
Palolma Cotton.
And Anthony Cotton.
All right, Anthony Palolma Cotton. How did you guys meet?
That's always a complicated story. But so I had a roommate. Her name's Kaylin, and he actually went to school with Kaylin, and so his friend was dating my roommate. So him and his friend were always over at our place, and for the longest time, we actually never even talked. We didn't say hi. We would just cross paths, and finally one day we're like, oh. I was like, he's kind of cute. Long time later.
Yeah. Probably 2 so we probably went 2 months, like consistently being in the same place, but never interacting. There'll be 12 people, and I'll interact with all 11 of them except for who ended up being my wife. So we were just like doing this. And then, like she said, one day it kind of just clicked. It was like Cupid shot us in the butt and opened our eyes.
he noticed me first, though.
This is true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
You like, that's right, girl. Yeah. To have you, girl.
Definitely.
So, how long have you guys been together?
So, I was just talking about this with one of my best friends. We've been on the fast track. So we were boyfriend and girlfriend for like a year and a half.
Part of that was long distance.
A lot of that was long distance. And then we got engaged, and we've been married we just hit 2 years last Sunday on Mother's Day. So a total of like 3.5 years.
Yes.
We've been together, been married for 2.
And have our 4-month-old baby.
So we've been like on the fast track, but now we're like, okay, we're gonna slow down. No more kids anytime soon. No big moves. We moved to California, back from California. We're like, all right, we're gonna slow the tempo down now.
Yeah, like those grandmothers used to say, like when it was storm out there, boy, y'all better get somewhere and sit still, baby.
For real.
Like, man, y'all been moving around, y'all.
We
I need
were
some time
moving.
to enjoy this journey you're on, and just have some still time. Like, hey, like, you really my wife? Like, hey,
Right.
oh, hey, we have a kid.
Right. Seriously. Sometimes I just sit there and look at her. I'm like, oh my gosh, this little girl's mine.
I know.
Whoa.
It's awesome stuff, isn't it? So, what are 3 things you guys think it takes to have a successful relationship?
Vision. That's the first thing that came to mind when you asked that question. So I think you have to have a vision for your relationship, because a lot of people go into boyfriend and girlfriend situations kind of like, oh, we'll see if this works out, or, I'm just kind of dating this person for now. But I mean, you can't have a vision with everybody, but once you kind of get that confirmation from God that, hey, this might be the one, once you see that you're really aligned with this person, I think number one, you have to have vision to say, this is where we're going, this is what we're going to do, this is what we have, what we won't have, and this is what we want our life together to look like. I think that's number one.
Yeah.
What do you say number two is?
Well, just talk a little bit more about that. Okay. When we first started getting to know each other, we're like, okay, if we start dating, this is going somewhere. The purpose of our relationship is to get married one day.
Yeah.
So not just enter relationships just for fun.
Right. No wasted time.
Right. No wasted time.
Right.
Especially in a long distance relationship.
Yeah.
Because we know people who were in a long distance relationship and they had no plan for their relationship. We don't know when we're moving to the same state, what we're gonna do, and that just won't work out. You
seem like a and I kind of heard this from somebody else before too when I interviewed them. You seem like a like a own purpose, in order type of person.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely so.
I kind of heard that from somebody else.
Very true. That's accurate.
And that's like I think that's the way we have to live too. With the purpose. I think it don't make sense to waste time on anything. Like if I'm gonna give you my time, boy, I'm in.
That's real. All, like you said, all around life. Yeah.
Yeah. So no wasted time. So purpose, vision,
communication.
Yeah.
You need to be able to openly, honestly talk to your partner about everything, even if it might seem small, if it whatever you think might come out of it. That communication is so important.
Okay.
Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, like you said, talk, like not argue, not get defensive. And I'm not sitting on this podcast like, oh, I'm perfect. We perfectly communicate. I don't believe we argue. Neither one of us have the personality to like yell and cuss at each other. But when you say communication, I think it's important to like communicate, not yell, not fight. Don't get on the defense, but be able to receive that constructive criticism sometimes and be like, ooh, that burned a little bit, but I understand where you're coming from and I'm going to apply that thing.
I think it's also cool that you when the other person knows that the spouse has the best interest at heart, your best interest at heart, and so like, so anything like you said, like, I don't know if I wanted to hear that, but I know without a doubt, like, she loved me. So, it's not, it's coming from a good place,
Definitely. It's all about delivery, because I don't know if some people intentionally attack their spouse, but sometimes when you communicate, it's not constructive criticism. It's just antagonizing or judging or kind of a verbal attack. So the way you communicating and the way you communicate is so important. And just knowing like what's going on in each other's head. Because at the end of the day, we're still constantly trying to become one.
Yeah.
So
I
have my brain and thoughts. She has her brain and thoughts. And we have to make sure that we know, okay, like yesterday, and this isn't to toot my own home, but I just asked her, like, let me get a clear understanding of what you want out of life. Not with us, not with the baby, but just for you. But just so I can know what's going on in her head. And she knows I'm verbal. I wear my heart on my sleeve, so she knows what's going on in my head.
There's
but just,
no guessing.
Knowing each other are. What'd you say?
It's no guessing with you, like
yeah, it's not a guessing game. But just knowing where each person is, and how you can aid that person in this season and help and all that stuff. So communication is huge.
I think too, while you were saying that, it made me think of, each of us are our own individual.
Yeah.
And I think when you get with the person, you know initially, who they are, what they're about, through your relationship. But like you said, you grow to learn each other.
Yeah.
But within that, what's even more important is you grow to learn yourself so that you're better for that person too.
Super true.
And so, I think, just like, sometimes, some stuff that may bother you that it ain't even worth saying because, like you said, like, I don't want a verbal, like you said, like, is it big? Like, I can be a big boy and learn to get through it, like,
right.
So.
Absolutely. And excuse us, world, we have a little one over here that is having fun. But you just hit on something so important. You said having the ability, this is Chip's word. I'm trying to tell you how Chip is deep. You said having the ability to just like let stuff go. So before we got married, a lot of people were like, oh, it's the little things that are going to make you hate each other. It's the toothbrush. It's the toilet paper. It's the paper towels. It's these little things. And like, I've learned, like, just some stuff is just not worth arguing. Like, I'm not saying be passive and like just like act like there's no issue, but some stuff is just not worth, even if it does irritate you. Like you said, even if it does bother you that she put her toothbrush in the left hole, like that stuff is not even worth, it's not even worth going there. And I've seen it. Yeah. So we're laughing, but I've really seen people like, no, you drank the ice yesterday. No, I drank it today. No, and go on a full argument.
You're like, come on, y'all, grow up.
About the ice.
And suddenly they're arguing about something crazy. Something that happened in the past or something. It's not.
It's like, hey, hey, it's all right. I got you. I'll put your toothbrush in the right hole every day. I'll do that for you.
Like he likes things a certain way.
I'm very
so together, he does not like his pasta in a plate. He likes it in a bowl. So I was just like, okay. So I learned that early on. He was like, oh, can you switch that to a bowl? I was like, sure.
I let my secrets go now.
Yeah.
Like, boy, whatever it's in.
Like, it's not that big of a deal. Sure, if you want it in a bowl, I got you.
I think that's what makes it fun too, man. Like, it's really cool when you have somebody in your life that you can learn each other together and have fun learning each other, and then are able to go back and look and laugh at yourself. Like, man, I was tripping. Like man, what was I doing? I'm tripping.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. One thing we learned early on was like, you have different ways of doing things, but it's different, not wrong. So sometimes we can be like, oh, that's wrong. That's not how you do it. And it's really not wrong. It's just like, I grew up doing it one way. You grew up doing it another way. It's different. And just learning to just incorporate those things. Maybe some things will change, some things we won't, but it's not wrong. That person isn't doing anything harmful. It's just different from what you're used to.
And one thing that I really like too is, how you, like when I interviewed you, I remember you talking about how, when you grew up in like different places and then you went to, like, growing up in Denver, then going to, it's just different, so when you're in this environment, like in junior high, it was this, and then, you got old in high school, it was different, place. I think the really cool thing is, when you have, first of all, different people, you're going to have that in a relationship that come together, but different cultures too.
Right.
Different cultures, different races. I think it really makes it neat because like now you get to learn so much about so many different things, and that makes you say cultured, or that makes you better.
Yeah.
Because you get an opportunity. I think when you can learn things, it makes you better.
Absolutely. And yeah, going into it, like, I don't know about you, but I didn't think it was a big deal. Like, she's Mexican, I'm black. I was just like, I never saw it like that.
Yeah.
But then I started to realize that other people saw it. And then, like you're saying, it actually does open your worldview. So not only am I just learning about my wife, but I'm learning about her whole culture, her family.
Yeah.
And we might think that, black and Mexican people, we kind of get put in the same category, but we're very different. And there's a lot of things that I learned. So, like, I'm just gonna say it as blatantly straight up as possible. Like in high school, like the blacks and the Hispanics, we never got along. There was like black and Mexican riots every year at my high school, every single year. Guns, fights, big things. But as I've listened to her and I've understood, like for us or for me, it was always like, oh, they're talking about us, or they're like stupid stuff like that. But I'm learning, like, culturally, we are a little intimidating as black people. So while we're being loud, like, oh, they just don't like us, blah, 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 a lot of the times I've learned from you, like, not saying that they're scared of us, but it's like an intimidation thing. And then there's the language barrier. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I know they're talking about me. Or historically, we'll be like, oh, I know they're talking about me. But no, they just don't speak the same language that you do. So there's a lot of things that I just learned about that dynamic. And it made it make more sense. Like, oh, you're not the enemy. Oh, no, they're not X, Y, and Z. So I got to learn a lot about her culture, if that makes sense.
I think, like, and I'm going to say this, like you said, just say it blatantly, just put it out there. If you think about it and you look at it, there's good and there's crazy in every family, in every culture. You think about it, it don't matter who you are, it don't matter where you come, none of that really matters. It's about people's choices. It's about how they choose to treat people, how they choose to live their lives. And there's good and there's bad in every culture. You just have to, learn from all of it. Oh yeah, I need to incorporate that in my life. Oh, I don't need to do that. We ain't doing that. So I think it's a lot of things. I think that's the really cool thing to me about life. You can learn so much. Like I said, the
absolutely
and everything. So, one last question, let you go, because I know you got to take care of the baby. I think the baby's trying to get on the interview too, huh? She's talking.
I really think she is.
Be on the interview?
That's awesome, man.
So, advice for couples, especially. So, I don't know if you're planning to do What's on My Heart, but I'm just gonna turn this into What's on My Heart. Is that okay?
Man, you Anthony Greatness Cotton, whatever you want to do, dog.
For me, What's on My Heart or advice for couples, I want to specifically speak to people who are planning to get married or maybe get married in the next year or just have a desire to get married, period, in life. I want to see people put as much effort and energy into their relationship as they do their wedding. So I see people work 80 hours a week to have a $50,000 wedding. I literally had just talked to a lady that worked as a wedding coordinator. She said a lady spent like $5,000 on flowers, $10,000 on decor, $20,000 on the plate, whatever. She spent thousands of dollars for this wedding, and then they broke up, and then she found another husband to fill the wedding in that same year. So she spends all this money on the wedding, but I want people to put that same energy and that same effort into the relationship. I'd rather you go to the courthouse, get married for $10 and go to McDonald's afterwards and have a fire marriage and relationship and connection than have this beautiful, extravagant, wonderful fairy tale Disney wedding and then have a hell relationship.
Yeah.
So I just want people to put that same energy. You put that time, you put in extra work, you save up, you tap into your resources to have a beautiful wedding. I want you to do all that for the marriage, for the relationship. Forget the wedding, in my opinion. I want to see this thing last for 80 years, not like a 2-hour wedding.
You can do that by, premarital counseling, conferences, reading books.
Talk about, we'll make it practical.
Watching your series, all these different things.
Hey,
Yeah.
did you say watching the Success Chronicles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, man, you told me she was a good one. You told me.
I told you.
That's good stuff, man.
My advice would be, and he's heard me say this, just be nice. I just see couples just be so mean to each other for no reason, the way they talk to each other, or when they argue, like we talked about earlier, they attack each other. Just be nice. It's not that hard, and you'll see how much happier you are.
Sure. Yeah, it's a simple formula, huh? Just be nice.
Just be nice. Yeah. Seriously, just be nice.
True story. True story.
Well, thank you guys for taking the time.
Thank you.
The Chronicles with the Relationship Series, and I wish you guys continued success in your relationship. Two great people, and I think the world needs more great people like you guys, and I'm so glad that we're able to, share your relationship here on the Success Chronicles, and hopes to motivate and inspire other couples as well. So
yes, indeed.
I hope you guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This was fun.
Yeah. I've been excited and ready to do this one, and it's just always fire when I can get the Cottons. And some people might say fire, F-I-Y-A, not just fire.
You always teaching me new little sayings.
But y'all have a great day, and thank you guys for watching this episode of the Success Chronicles. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Go get it.